Our project today is a loaded paper bag. Oh my goodness, they're so much fun and a great way to give a small gift, to tie on top of a package, to send out a happy mail, or to pop it into your journal. Hi Best Buds, it's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. You guys, I have some paper bags here. Now my paper bags were white and I coffee dyed them. So I have coffee dyed bags. Bags are approximately 10 3/4 by 5 1/4, just approximately. And what I want to do is I want to fold over the top. And I'm going to fold over the top. This is folded about 1 1/4 inches, something like that. And the reason why I folded it like this is it's going to make it easier for me to open it up and fold it inside like this. I'll just follow the crease marks that I made. I just find it to be easier to do it that way. There we go. Now, if you have a machine, you can sew this closed. If not, you could use your glue and you can glue it closed. I'm going to actually take it to my machine and I'm going to sew right here. And I'm going to, this is the bottom of the bag, I'm going to fold it up like this and make a pocket right here. So this bag isn't going to be very tall when we get done. It's going to be about 6 1/4 inches tall. If by chance you don't have a sewing machine, you're taking the bottom of the bag, you're turning it up just like this, and you're gluing right here. You're gluing it closed to make a pocket. And you're gluing this down. I think it was 1 1/4 inches, I think I said. Fold that down and you can glue that. Now you'll end up with something that looks like this. Of course, if you're not sewing, yours wouldn't have stitch marks, but you can get into your bag like this all the way. And you can get into the pocket. And it sounds so wonderful, right? So I have some digitals. And these digitals are from my Porch prints. I'm sorry, I'm making that scritchy noise because I can't seem to get these pictures. So I've got some different ones. And what I would like to do is I'd like to save one for a little booklet we're going to put inside, and I want another one to be a large tag to go in. So I think that will be nice for a large tag. So I'm going to choose that for a large tag, and I'm going to select, set that over to the side, one for the inside of my pocket. And then I would like one with a little more color, but I think this is kind of tall. Is this one taller than this one? Oh, it is. Maybe this one would be good to stick here. And then this one we can stick in here. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And I'm going to save this one for the outside of my booklet. Now let's decorate our tags up just a little bit. I have a piece of coffee dyed file folder, and I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to punch out a tab like this, and I want 2 of them tabs punched out. You know, I like the way it looks when things are inked. Now, in this project, I'm using my frayed burlap and I'm using Victorian velvet. And I'm going to take my little pictures here Now, if you don't have any digitals, you could use magazine pictures. You could use book page pictures. So you don't need to worry if you don't have digitals. You could use something like that. You could also make your own tags out of some paper pad. That would work too. You could stamp things on it. Alrighty, so I added a little bit of pink. I might as well add a little bit of pink onto this one. Things all inked up. I even inked up my little tabs here. I'm going to round the corners on all my pieces of ephemera here. So I'm just getting the corners together. Hopefully I can get them all put together. And then I'm just going to punch them all at once. And I'm going to do all of them. I need to ink my bag. I have a ruffle out of lace right here. And I have my Surebonder high tip with the specialty tip. And I want to place this piece of lace on my pocket. And I'm just looking to see, I think I'd like to add it right here. I'm going to go all the way across with my glue. And then I'm going to take my lace and I'm going to lay it right on the top of that glue. And I'm going to glue it down. I have a little piece of Sari silk from Crimson Heart Studios, and I'd like to glue that right in the center of my lace here. So just adding my glue right there in the center. I'm just going to glue this down. Bring in my dish. I have a little dish here. I have the cutest little sewing trim, and I'd like to place it in the center of my pocket. I just think that is super cute. To decorate a few of my little journaling cards. So this is the smaller one of the two, and I think I'll have it something like that. But I'd like to add a little decoration to this one. So I'm actually going to glue this little tab right on the top. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to apply my glue on both sides. Oops. I'm just kind of seeing where the middle is. There we go. I'm going to go all the way to the top as possible so I won't cover up too many of my little daisies there. And then I have another piece of that beautiful, it's kind of a golden yellow color. We're going to tie a bow with it like this. And I'm going to glue that bow right on my tab. Just like that, just for some added cuteness, super cute. Let's pop that in there now. Now I'm going to take my other journaling card, and I've got some more of that coffee dyed gauze. And I'm going to glue it. Yeah, let's see. I like to glue it maybe about right here, and I'm just going to put it kind of cattywampus because I don't want to cover up my little daisies, but I would like just a little bit of lace on top. So a little bit more glue right on top. I need to get my stick. I don't know what happened. Here's my stick. There, that works much better. Then I have in that dish, I have another little smaller piece, a little flower, a little daisy flower, and I think that will be super cute. Oh my goodness, how cute is that looking? That's looking great. More of the little journaling cards. I'm going to put another tab on the top. So I'm going to get my glitter glue, And I'm going to glue this right on top. And I think I have enough of this beautiful sari silk for another little bow. At least I hope so, because I think it would be oh so cute. We'll glue that down. I'm going to trim this off. There we go. And that's going to go in here. I think to top this one off, we'll put another little flower right there on the center. That pulls it all together, doesn't it? Now for our little booklet. All right, so I have a piece of coffee dyed copyweight paper, and it's 11 inches by 8.5. And I'm going to fold it the long way. There we go, fold it the long way. Now I'm going to actually take my bag and I'm going to place my paper in my bag. I'll push it all the way down to the bottom. Then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to lightly mark, just like that. Pull it back out. And then I'm going to get my little guillotine. And we're going to trim, just like that. So now what I want to do is I want to do that 3 times. You should end up with, should end up with 3 of the larger size and 3 of the smaller size. And I want to go ahead and I want to round these corners now. So I'm going to put them all together and I'm going to go ahead and round the short ones as well as the taller ones. Because I have inked everything else, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Victorian velvet and I'm going to ink up everything. I have my smaller pages and I have my larger pages. I'd like to put my decoration on my smaller page, and I think I like this one right here. Yeah, I like all the pink on it. So let's move these out of the way. And what I want to do is I want to bring in some stamps. Now you guys, I found these stamps at the thrift store and I think they're so cute. And because I had this ephemera, we're going to stamp Daisy on the side here. I've got my Stays On Timber Brown, and I'd like to use that. So let's open it up. And I'm going to put this over towards the edge, and it opens here. So this is where I'm going to be placing my stamps. And I think I'm going to turn it this way. And we're going to add our ink on here. And then just stamp it. Kind of holding my breath. D, A, ooh, it's too far down. A, I, S, Y. I find this always so kind of nerve-wracking. Daisy. Oh, that's cute. That is super cute. Okay, I'm very excited because I find that to be kind of scary when you're doing that. And that's also the reason why I didn't glue this down onto there, because if I messed it up, then I'd have to cut it out and blah, 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 blah. All right, so now I've got a little piece of net. We're going to glue this down. Let's just do this right now. Let's glue this onto our little page. And I'm going to place it right here. And I'm just looking at my lines. Get it moved moved over. There we go. That's perfect. Now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in a little bit of lace here. I'd like to put some lace, and I'm only going to put it so it's the width of the little journaling card that we used. Now, right here, I'm going to take, I had one, here's one. I'm going to take another one. These are just, it's a strip of net, and I'm just cutting a square, or it might be a rectangle, I don't know exactly. But I'm going to add a little glue here, and I'm looking for my little silicone stick. They come just like this, and they were gifted to me in Happy Mail. What a wonderful Happy Mail that was. And I'm going to add my glue right on the back, just like that. And I just think that is absolutely adorable. So we're going to take the small one that we just made. Let me get all the small ones. Here are the small ones, here are the large ones. We're going to take a small one, then we're going to put a larger one, and then another small one, and a large one. We're making our signature, and we're just alternating the large and the small. And then I'm just looking and trying to get the smaller pieces about in the same width from the top to the bottom. You know, not perfect, but I'm trying to eyeball it. And I've got my little clips here, and we're going to sew this in because I want to put some dangles. I love dangles. This is my little cheat sheet. It's the length of your little journal, and it's 1 inch to 2 inches. You fold it the long way, you fold it again, you fold it again, and you crease it really well. When you open it up, you put a little dot where the folds intersect, and that is how you're going to sew your signature in, and it's going to be perfectly spaced each and every time, no matter what size your little journal is. And it's absolutely a wonderful little tool. I'm going to place my holes with my awl so that I can sew in my signature. And when I sew in my signature, I'm going to leave some extra, and I'm going to sew on or put on these beads right here for my dangles. I have my book binding thread right here. It has a little bit of wax on it, and I'm going to measure. I like to have plenty of my book binding thread. So yeah, I just like to have extra, lots of extra. So don't get upset if I, have a lot. I just like to do it that way because when I sew in my signature, I do not want to have to struggle because I have shorted myself some thread. All right, so just a very simple pamphlet stitch. I love this stitch, and I use it all the time. All right, so you want to make sure that you've got one of your threads on one side of the center thread and one on the other. And I like to, when I'm sewing my I keep calling it sewing. When I put on my beads, I feel like it's sewing when I do it. I like to even up my string just a little bit. So one is pretty short, so let's see here. If I pull it, no, it's this one. I can tell that I've gone through. If that ever happens to you, see, when you took your needle and came back the last time through the center hole, sometimes it goes through your thread. Just undo it. It's easy to fix. That's not a problem, but I just want to show you that just in case that happens to you and you know, you're like, what's happened? Oh no. No, it's okay. It's just remove it from each other. Just pull one and it'll come right out. All right, so tie in my knot. If you use embroidery thread, you want to make sure to leave your journal open, put a little dollop of wet glue right there so that your embroidery thread will not loosen up and then your signature will wobble, because that's what will happen. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness, that is so, so cute. We've got all our pages here and we're going to put on our beads. Now, I am going to put a knot first. I always like to put a knot right underneath my journal itself. Then I'm going to start with one of these smaller beads, and then I'm going to put on one of these orange flowers, so cute, and then another one of the gold beads, and then I'm going to go back through that gold bead. Hopefully it will allow me to do it. Yeah, back through this gold bead. I might have to recut. Nope, there we go. It went back through. See how it went back through? If you take your awl, put it through that loop, you can move it right up to the bottom. And then I'm going to put a double knot all the way up to that smaller last bead, 2 knots. And before I finish this, I would take my wet glue once again and put a dollop right there on that knot, just so that it won't work its way loose. Isn't that so cute? Now, where is our little bag? So now this is going to fit right in front, and we're just going to push it right down in. Oh my goodness, isn't that the most adorable little gift? You can give this as a gift, send it out in Happy Mail. You could actually tie it on to a present. That would be really cute too. And I love it because it's so summery looking, isn't it? I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.